Good morning, History 285. For my digital essay, I am exploring the growth of rubber as a key commodity toward the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. I will address how this hot commodity has gone from a mere tree extract to a crucial raw material. Used for countless products, rubber is a huge part of our daily lives. From car tires to pencil erasers to clothing, this stretchy elastic compound is used by just about everyone, everywhere, every single day. Due to its high proliferation, I feel as though it is a good commodity to analyze through the lens of the Trading Consequences website. This webpage serves as a primary source directory, enabling historians and researchers to find out where any given commodity originated, as well as where it spread through highlighting primary source documents on a map. So where did it all begin? The boom of industries in the latter half of the 19th century can be credited with the origin of harvesting natural rubber. In the 1880s, South American countries such as Peru, Brazil, and Ecuador sent samples of their rubber to the United States and England in hopes of spurring interest. The interest was there, as rubber was a key raw material used in producing many products, let alone for its uses in automobile tires later. Rubber production was kicked into high gear with these tropical environments. Although production was predominantly located near and around Brazil, it proliferated into other tropical regions such as Sumatra. So how is rubber made? It seems counterintuitive that something like a tire or pencil eraser came from a tree at one point. Seemingly inorganic, rubber in its natural form comes from a variety of different plants such as a dandelion. However, 99% of natural rubber production comes from a tree called Hevea brasiliensis. This rubber tree is native to Brazil, but it also takes root in other places with deep, drained soil for extended periods of rainfall. The trees can't survive in places with a dry season. In order to extract the rubber from the trees, farmers make lacerations along the bark so that a white, milky, coagulated substance can drain from the tree into a bucket. The farmers collect the buckets daily, and new lacerations are made upon bucket collection. The rubber is then rolled out and hung to dry on small sheets. This form of raw rubber is close to that of latex. The rubber that is used to make shoe soles and tires goes through a vulcanization process. This process involves cooking the rubber with sulfur at 280 degrees Fahrenheit to make it stronger. Charles Goodyear developed the vulcanization process on accident when he dropped raw rubber on a hot stove and watched the vulcanization process take place to make the tougher, black rubber we think of today that is used for automobile tires. As for the proliferation of the rubber commodity, the Trading Consequences website directed me to several primary sources showing the uses and development of rubber as a key raw material. One primary source, taken from the database of early Canadian periodicals, shows what looks like to be a newspaper with an advertisement for rubber goods of all kinds. The date of this publication is June 2nd, 1899, which allows me to make the conclusion that rubber was being widely used at this time, just by the nature of the advertisement. Another early Canadian periodical from June of 1892 advertises shoes with rubber soles, ensuring dryness of feet on the beach. An earlier article found within the same online database of primary sources describes how in 1884 laws were passed in Brazil prohibiting the cultivation and destruction of young rubber trees. The conclusion can be drawn that in 1884 the commodity of rubber was gaining popularity, and tampering with young rubber trees would result in a smaller yield of the commodity. Trading Consequences directed me to a later article published in 1908 describing the harsh conditions of rubber plantations in Brazil. The article described how the better the conditions for rubber trees, the harder it would be to access the forest for exporting purposes. Since this article is written a few decades after rubber started being farmed naturally, the conclusion can be made that it marks the turning point from natural rubber to synthetic rubber construction. Another key use of the Trading Commodities website is the map feature. Upon searching for a commodity, a map is displayed that shows all the places that a primary source documents were published. Images show the proliferation of rubber farms in the search for the rubber tires. Another key feature of the map is the time filter. As you can see, each year there are different locations for the primary source documents. These different locations show the origins of natural rubber, then places where rubber was exported, and eventually the maps show how rubber farms died out with a decrease in hits for rubber trees search. It's interesting how the map works to align perfectly with the trends of rubber production. The map also brought up a primary source document from Yokohama, Japan, regarding rubber production and manufacturing. This would later expand into the Yokohama Tire Company. Over time, as producing and accessing natural rubber became more difficult, synthetic rubber was created using a petroleum base. This accounts for the decrease in rubber tree farms over time. An overwhelming majority of the rubber used to make automobile tires today is synthetic rubber. In summary, I chose to research rubber as my commodity due to its high proliferation and high rate of export. I also chose to examine it as a key component of the automobile, which was invented in 1886 by Carl Benz. This was right in the middle of the rubber boom. I find the invention of the car interesting. I believe it serves as a culminating symbol of the interconnectedness that was coming to be a reality in the turn of the 20th century. Automobiles employ a multitude of different commodities into one, so that people can transport themselves around more easily. Not only are they a product of interconnection, they also facilitate interconnection. Obviously, rubber and the automobile go hand in hand. It's where the car meets the pavement. If it weren't for rubber, there would likely be no automobile.